If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in, Follow the Money, show presented by DraftKings. Mitch on vacation, Pauly Howard, Matt Youmans, Paul Stone to preview the Sun Belt in half an hour, and also the Notre Dame. High hopes, big expectations for the Irish as well. We'll chop it up with Paul Stone coming up and get back to Game 7 later in the program as well. Nigel Seeley joins us now on the Progressive Guest Line, VSiN contributor. Good run here with the picks, and there's 4 matches today. He has an opinion on 3 of them, and he joins us now. Great to talk to you. Follow him on X, by the way, at Seeley_Nigel. Premier Sports plays as well. Okay, so Mbappe's going to play. France, a big favorite. We're going to the early matches, 12 Pacific, 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Poland's been already eliminated. France, a big favorite, $4 in that range. What do you want to do with France and Poland? And good to see you.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Pauly. Yeah, it's an interesting day. I mean, this is where the tournament really comes alive here for me, because you get to these sort of tactical battles where some teams might not go all out. Some teams have already been eliminated from the tournament. Some teams have to win because they know who's waiting for them in the knockout stages. So they know that a win might give them a more favourable tie, a defeat might give them a more favourable time. So a little bit of tactics come into play here as we get into this stage of the tournament. If we look at this group D, I mean, it's dominated by Netherlands and France, but Austria have done exceptionally well. So don't rule out Austria against the Netherlands today. I haven't got an official pick on that match, but I think Austria have really impressed me. Poland, as we said at the start of the tournament, I thought they're probably one of the weakest teams in the tournament. I actually bet them to finish bottom of the group, highlighted that on here. And I also said they'll probably be the lowest scorers in the tournament. They could still be the lowest scorers in the tournament with 2 goals, but they've got nothing to play for tonight. Mm-hmm. And France have got everything to play for, because France have to win, and they have to win well. Because if they win well, they'll overtake Netherlands at the top of the group, which will give them an easier route to the final. If they come runners-up in this group, then they go into the section with Portugal, Spain, and Germany. They don't want to be having that. They want to be in the other half of the draw. So it's really, really important for France to win this group, and for the Netherlands as well. Netherlands find themselves up a difficult match, as I said, against Austria. But France find themselves against a Poland side who are weak, who have got nothing to play for. They're out of the tournament, and I expect them to rest all their key players. I think Lewandowski will play their star man, but the rest of them, I think, will give opportunities to fringe players. And I believe that France will not only win this, but I think they'll win it well. My bet here tonight is France -1.5 on the Asian handicap. It was even money yesterday. That line has moved probably down to about -136. But I do think that France have to win this, and they have to win by more goals than what the Netherlands are winning. They've got a deficit at the moment of 1 goal because the Netherlands have scored 2 and France only scored 1. So they've got to beat the scoreline that Netherlands win. So if Netherlands win 2-0 against Austria, the French have got to win by 3 to make them top the group. And it's so important to top this group. Honestly, I can't overstate to you how important it is, because you go into the weaker part of the draw, and your passage through to the semi-finals is a very easy one compared if you come runner-up. Then you run into some of the tournament big guns very early, last 16 quarterfinals.
Great breakdown. Awesome. France -1.5, and the total 3, and then Netherlands +110, total of 2.5 as well. Okay, to England, they've been a disappointment. They are $3 today, total of 2.5. What do you think here with Group C that goes 3 hours after? Then we're looking at 3 Eastern at noon Pacific. I know they're struggling with offense, but what do you think here was the big favorites and what they need to do today?
Yeah, I was just closing the window there because someone's mowing their garden outside my window. So I wanted to get that noise away from you there. So if you saw me move away. I'm heading, look, I've got my England kit on. I've got my 1980 England kit. I was 7 years old when this kit came out. It's my birthday on Friday, so I'm hopefully celebrating an England win tonight. I'm going to go and meet some friends. I've got a couple of guys over from America, actually, who are big VSiN watchers who are going to come and watch the viewers who are going to come and watch the game with me in London this afternoon. So we've got a big day. I don't think we're going to be watching a classic, that's for sure. I mean, England have stunk the place out in this tournament. There's no getting away from it. They've been absolutely dreadful. The first match, they got a great start. For 25 minutes, they looked absolutely brilliant. And then they just sat back, defended, and invited Serbia and Serbia were much a better side in the second half, couldn't score. The second match, again, they scored early, invited Denmark on, and Denmark, again, was unlucky. But England have already qualified. They go into this match knowing they've qualified. But again, they have to win the group. The group is so important. If they do not win the group, England, tonight, and they draw this match or they lose this match, the chances are they finish second in the group, or maybe even third. Second means they play Germany in the last 16. You don't want to be playing Germany in the last 16. So it's a must-win match for England. The only positive you can take from this England's display so far is that they can only get better. That's the only positive you can take, because they can't get any worse than what they've done. Would I bet them on the money line tonight? No, I wouldn't. They're very heavy, minus $2, 230, 240 favourites, heavy favourites. But Slovenia aren't very good. I mean, England should be beaten. England have got the best squad. They're the best team. They got their best players. Bellingham is a world-class player. Harry Kane is a world-class player, and they have to click. I went back through history in England, and this is pretty much a mirror image of England's latest or recent kind of major tournament football. They win the first match, they draw the second match, and then they go into the third match knowing they have to win to qualify. And they pretty much always do that. It's a carbon copy of what's happened year on year on year. In the last 9 England major tournaments that England have played, they've got into 8 of them having to win the match or draw the match to get through to the next round. In all 8 of them, they've got the job done, but not by a convincing manner. And in those 8 matches, England have never conceded a goal. They've won 2-0 or it's been a 0-0 draw. That's the kind of game you're going to see here tonight. I think England will win 1 or 2-0. They're going to be too strong, but I can't see Slovenia scoring. So I think the best angle for betting England tonight is England to win 2-0. It's happened in 8 of the last 9 final matches of the group stages in World Cups and European Championships. Mm-hmm. The only time England have ever lost a group match, a final group match in the last 9 years, was when they'd already qualified. So they'd won 2 matches, put out a reserve team and got beat 1-0 by Belgium. But in all of the all 8 of the last 9, 8 of them are cashed under 2.5 goals. And in every single one of those 9 matches in their final group games, both teams have scored has been a no. So it's not going to be pretty tonight. England's matches aren't pretty until they get to the knockout stages. But what they do, they know how to get out of these groups. They know how to grind, and they'll get better as the tournament goes on. So as an England supporter, I'm bitterly disappointed what we've seen in the first 2 matches. I'm not optimistic that we'll win it because I think there's better teams in it, but I'm very optimistic tonight. I've got no worries at all that England will qualify. But they've already qualified anyway, but I'm no worries they're going to win the match tonight. They'll top the group, and then we'll get through to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and run into some big teams, and our performance will have to improve. But the bet tonight is England England to win 2-0. That's definitely the best way, rather than taking the heavy minus money on them on the money line. All
right. Also in Group C, how about Denmark and Serbia? And I know you want to play the cards here, and you did that in, I think it was over the weekend. You got some added time that got there as well. I mean, again, who knows what's going on with the 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. They make it up as they go. But break down why you like the cards over here and your thoughts that, these other 3 teams are still alive in Group C.
Yeah, this is a great bet for me. This is the best bet of the night. Okay. And it's the over cards in the Denmark-Slovenia game, over 4.5 cards. This is a must-win match for both teams. Whoever loses this match is out of the tournament. If it's a draw, they're probably the team that Serbia are out. So Serbia have to win. Denmark have to win. It's a winner takes all game. Win it, you qualify. Lose, you're out. Draw, you're out. So it's massive for Serbia. What Serbia have done in this European Championship is exactly the same what they did in the World Cup. I said it before this last week. They played England in the first game, lost 1-0. In the World Cup, they played Brazil, lost 2-0. Then it was a draw. Then the final group game, when they had to win, they got a draw, but it went card crazy. There was 11 cards in their final match against Switzerland. Now, Switzerland are a totally impartial nation that don't get involved in any world conflict, who just sit on their own and just don't get involved. And they got involved in an 11-card frenzy against the Serbians. The Serbians completely and utterly go crazy if they think they're going to go out of the tournament. They were losing 1-0 against Slovenia in the last group game, which meant they were going to be eliminated from the tournament. There was 5 minutes to go in the match. They were going out, and there was 5 Serbian yellow cards in the last 5 minutes of the match because they were going out. They scored in the 92nd minute. They got a bit of a chance now going into the final game to qualify. But when their back's against the wall, they only know one way, and that's to kick and dive. And they're a very proud nation. They've been in conflict recently in the 90s. And you can see that passion in these Serbian players. You can see it in Novak Djokovic, the national hero, the tennis player. They don't give up. And this match here, with the way it's set up, is going to be card crazy. Yesterday, we had a match in Croatia, Italy, which was a must-win match as well. Similar situation. There was 8 yellow cards. Hungary against Scotland was another match where it was a must-win situation. The line was 4.5. There was 5 yellow cards. So every match where the two sides have to win, the draw's no good, a defeat, they're out, have gone over. And I feel that this Serbia-Denmark match is set up for a real feisty clash tonight. And we could see a lot of cards, Denmark v Serbia, over. You also going into the tournament, Serbia are the most ill-disciplined nation in the tournament. They've got more yellow cards than anybody else. And the line hasn't really altered. Throughout the tournament, the average card has been around about 3.9 per match, gone up a little bit after last night, probably about 4.1 per game. But they haven't factored in this is a must-win match and haven't factored in the Serbia sort of take on this. So over 4.5 cards, if you can get it on with your books, Serbia against Denmark is the bet tonight. Plus 120 the price, great price.
Superb breakdown. Awesome. I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow. Keep the winners coming. This has never happened before, right? In Group E, everyone has 3 points. That's tomorrow.
Yeah, that's incredible what's happened, and it's also incredible that that's never happened before. So that one team have won and one team lost. You would have thought all the mathematical permutations that would have happened a few times, but it hasn't happened. But that's an interesting one because we've got matches there where the draw is like even money. The Romania v Slovakia matches. If it's a draw, they both qualify, regardless what happens. So the draw is plus is even money on that. The lowest price on the draw I've seen for many years. So be interested to talk to you about that tomorrow. Have a good day. But come on England today. England to win 2-0, get through to the last 16, and we'll get to the business end and we'll see how we go from there.
That's Nigel, the best MLB card up next. Getting close. Thursday, your NFL betting guide comes out. Never been a better time to become a VSiN Pro subscriber. Best bets, every host, every guest, the 24/7 video access, dog videos, panda videos. 13 months. We're kicking a month for free. 13 months, less than 50 cents a day. And everything you want in the betting guide. Makinen's breakdowns, division previews, Super Bowl bets, props, coach of the year, win totals. It's phenomenal. VSiN.com/subscribe. Code FTM. To get the guide, you got to be a subscriber. VSiN.com/subscribe. Code FTM. Good MLB card today. Again, the beats in this sport, close to soccer. It's ridiculous. In the shenanigans last night with the bullpens. We mentioned it earlier. The Red Sox have won 8 of 10. They're down 6-2 in the 8th yesterday. They come back to win. The Blue Jays, right, they got to be the biggest disappointment in baseball.
Lost 7 straight.
Wow, they're bad. I know. You go to the playoffs, you have such a good lineup. You thought on paper, again, the offense had so many issues in the playoffs last year, and it carried over to this year. And 35-43, as you mentioned, losers of 7 in a row in last place. They stink.
I'd say you're probably right. I would say the biggest disappointment in baseball, too, the Blue Jays. Red Sox, I'll say they're red hot, but they're turning things around. They embarrassed the Yankees in back-to-back games the previous weekend. Intriguing pitching matchup today because I'd like to bet a hot team like the Red Sox. But Brian Bello is not in great form. He's a slight favorite here, -112 at DraftKings. Kevin Gausman, probably the right guy to end the Blue Jays' 7-game losing streak here. But I can't bet on a team on a skid like this against a hot team. That's the opposite way you're supposed to bet baseball. So I am not going to be on the Blue Jays and Gausman. I'll probably lay off this one.
Okay. Boston is a playoff team right now.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
43-36.
Well, hey, they just beat the Yankees 2 out of 3 at Fenway and made the Yankees look bad in the last 2 games.
Right. Hello, Nesson. Hello, New England. We love you.
Yeah.
Are you following this Karen Reed thing? And you know anything about it in Boston? Dedham, I think it's called, where the trial is, Dedham?
No.
Anything? Oh, it's okay. It's wild. I can't help you if you don't know, but it's bits and pieces. Cobb, what happened? Are you being framed? This is like they're showing it every day back there. I think the closing arguments are today. It's wild. What she Googled and what happened, and it's.
Does that have anything to do with sports?
No,
Does it? Huh?
No.
Oh, okay. So I haven't even heard of this. I don't know.
Okay, Google Karen Reed.
I thought you meant that was a Hawk Tua girl.
No, that's not that. Not this time.
No.
Okay, Cardinals and Orioles. Orioles have lost 4 in a row now, and it's Irvin going against Allen, and I don't care who gets hurt. I don't care who's out. Cleveland wins again. They're 50-26.
Biggest surprise in baseball from a positive perspective. Yeah.
It's an 8-game lead now in the division over the Twins, and you can still find them like $2, $1.90 in that range. 50-26, not crazy about Allen, but now Baltimore, after they had a hot start and still playing good ball, but now you get swept by Houston, still only 2 back of the Yankees, and they've dropped 4 in a row, and Cole Irvin is 135, 130 in that range, 9.5 the total today. What a story by Cleveland here to continue to do this.
Yeah, I don't want to bet against the Guardians right now. By the way, the Baltimore Orioles went to the Bronx and bombed the Yankees. Remember in that last game of the series, 17-5, and they have not played well since. Basically, when I look at the baseball card today, top to bottom, I see a few pretty good pitching matchups. No games I'm jumping to bet at this point. By the way, Kyle Hendricks goes for the Cubs tonight. You talked about the Cubs blowing the game last night in San Francisco. Hendricks, phenomenal in his previous start, threw 5 no-hit innings, finally allowed 1 run in the 6th, struck out 8. But can you bet on Kyle Hendricks to do that back-to-back games, and the Giants have not listed a pitcher yet for tonight?
Well, I asked you yesterday, too, and you said last week was the time to jump in on futures with Houston and St. Louis. St. Louis has won 7 of 10 and 4 in a row. They beat the Braves. They're at it again today. Lopez against Gibson. And Houston has won 5 in a row. And the Astros are only 5.5 back now of Seattle, who is continuing to struggle offensively, and they lose the series to the Marlins. They got beat again yesterday. Castillo's $1.30 against the Rays. And then Gibson is plus 120 against the Braves. So this is I did it over the weekend. I think it's a good chance Houston can win this division and catch Seattle, and it's moved. It was 6-1 over the weekend, and the Cardinals now also right behind Milwaukee. Only 5 back? Yeah, 5 back in the division as well. So other 2 games on the card as well. But this is so frustrating with Seattle with the lack of punch and no offense. God knows what the record would be.
It's frustrating with a lot of teams.
Sure.
I bet the White Sox
That's
last
right.
night.
How
First
about that?
First
Crochet
5 innings.
did it
Derek
again.
Crochet.
Yep.
Outstanding. White Sox get, 3 hits in the first 5 and a 0-0. Previous day, Paul Skeens starts for the Pirates.
Yep.
He gets 1 run, 3 hits of support, offensive support. So that's what you get into when you bet some bad teams. Some pathetic offensive performances sometimes. The top pitching matchup today, without a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Phillies, Tigers, Suarez, Skubal, and Phillies favored on the road minus 125. Bryce Harper's been hot recently.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the MVP move?
Yeah.
Now you're looking at like under 2-1 now to win the MVP right there, chasing down Ohtani. That is now 31 games where they've allowed 2 earned runs or fewer. And they did it again yesterday. And I could only look at the Phillies here. You got to be concerned what's going on with Skubal. Now, is it, okay, he was good numbers, but he was doing it against some so-so teams, and now he's taking on some good teams, and look what's – Atlanta roughed them up. Gave up 4 earned runs in 4 innings. Before that, Houston roughed them up. 4 earned runs in 6 innings.
Yep.
So that is now back-to-back bad starts, and the way the Phillies are going here. And plus Suarez is 10-1 with a 1.75 ERA, 95 strikeouts, 19 walks. Should be the favorite, I think, to win the Cy Young. What he's doing, I don't want any part of Detroit here. And another
Suarez was not great in his previous start at home against the Padres last week, but he might have had some distractions there. He had family in town, seeing him pitch for the first time. He was not very sharp against the Padres last week. One thing Scooball's got going for him here, he's a lefty, and the best Phillies bats are lefties. Probably a stay away for me with the road favorite here. How about Garrett Cole going against the Mets? Yankees,
what do you
Mets.
think? What do you think, Mr. Yankee? Yeah.
I liked Garrett Cole's first start. I thought Aaron Boone screwed it up, as he always does, almost always does. Pulled Cole too soon. What was it, Paul? 65 pitches?
Yeah.
And
so what's the plan today? Because it's good for a K prop and maybe some of his unders if they're going to do that again.
I think the pitch limit's going to be 80, and you might see Cole go 5 innings. So you got to – that would be the guideline I would work with if you're looking to props or if you're going to bet this game. And if you're looking to bet the Yankees and you think Cole's going to shut down the Mets, you got to look first 5. But the Mets are a hot team too.
Absolutely. I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Astros, the Cardinals, the Red Sox. Don't forget about the Mets.
Yes, and they are in this now for most wins in June. And I know someone who has a big ticket on the Mets, and it was just, they were a laughing stock again, and it seems like every other day Cohen was going to X to tweet about Amasari. But you're right, since Grimace throughout the first pitch and what they're doing. So they swept the Nationals, which don't laugh, they're playing good ball and had a good season. But then you win the 7 in a row. Stubbed your toe against Texas, okay. You won the series in Chicago, and now you take on 2 against the Yankees. It's a tough close to the month if you're trying to cash this ticket. 2 against the Yankees and 3 against the Astros. But again, everyone is in this in the National League, but Colorado and Miami. So if they make a move and decide to do something here at the deadline, they're playing great ball. Maybe they're buyers, and they're in this race with a couple other teams for Seattle, one of them, and I think Baltimore. But a great race here for most wins in the month. And, I think St. Louis is in that discussion, too. Right. So it's going to be a great race here with a week left in the month. But, full marks to what the Mets are doing. Anything else? Yeah, I know it's a pretty good card, but it's hard. How about Keller and Green? How about they just played, and this was the exact pitching matchup,
I know.
And it was 1-0. This run, if the Pirates could get the offense going here, it's so frustrating. And Cincinnati was great yesterday, but the run that the run that Mitch Keller is on is phenomenal.
I would like to bet the Pirates, but after backing Skeens first 5 in the game on Sunday, I can't do it again here because you can't trust the Pirates to put a number on the board to back their pitchers.
Yeah. Yep. So he went 7 strong in the last start. 7 innings, no runs. Yeah. Cardinals touched him up June 13th. But other than that, 6 innings, no runs, 6 innings, 1 run, 6 innings, 1 run, 6 innings, no runs, complete game, 6 innings, 2 runs. Keller's been sensational other than one rough start.
Maybe the first 5 under.
Yeah. Green's been good, too. Yeah. 8.5 is the total for the game. Paul Stone up next. We'll preview a double shot with Paul Stone. He has a bunch of picks in the Sun Belt, 2 win totals, 2 picks to win the conference, which includes a long shot, and his thoughts on Notre Dame. Big expectations for the Irish and a high win total. Paul Stone up next, VSiN. Follow the money, the Sports Betting Network. Great day of soccer. 4 matches today. Nigel's got a pick on 3 of them. Read his write-up every day, VSiN.com. Shoemaker on the WNBA. Lombardi on the NFL. Brent Musburger with NFL picks and futures. Best bets, betting splits, betting tools, and betting guides. Check it out. Bookmark it every day. VSiN.com. Our weekly visit with Paul Stone. Paul Stone Sports on X, the website. Check out his podcast as well as we continue our previews in college football. This week, it's the Sun Belt. We'll also sneak in a little Notre Dame for everyone in Marquee and the Irish with big expectations. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. How are you gentlemen this morning?
All right, my friend. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Paul, great to talk with you this morning. And I'm curious how the college football games of the year market has changed from your viewpoint in the, let's say, the past 5 to 10 years to what it is now, because you were one of the first guys at the South Point when Chris Andrews would put up the numbers, or at the Golden Nugget when Tony Miller would put up the numbers. And how did you have to approach things differently this summer? Because we're seeing these numbers go up sooner than ever before, and books like DraftKings putting up the numbers first.
Yeah, and that's part of it with PASPA, the passage of PASPA and the proliferation of sports betting throughout more than 35 states, I guess now throughout the U.S. these aggressive operators get these numbers out earlier. So I'm making games of the year now as early as about mid-February.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you have earlier opportunities, but at the same time, you're being pretty aggressive because there's so much uncertainty. You're betting games before spring training, before spring practice has even taken place, has even started in any schools. And there's obviously a lot of roster turnover in that second portal window. So it's a little bit more of a crapshoot, and you're quote unquote gambling a little bit more maybe in past years.
Paul's on the Progressive guest line, college football handicapper to the Sun Belt. And we've had a lot of success the last 2 years, cashing tickets on Troy. Had a future on Troy 2 years ago, 11-3 last year, 12-2 the year before. They lose just about everybody. New coach, and they only return 4 starters. What do you want to do with Troy, sir?
I'm not going to do too much with Troy, Pauly, except maybe fade them when the opportunity is there. Like you mentioned, this roster has just been cannibalized by other teams. Their head coach, John Sumrall, leaves for Tulane. So Troy, it's kind of sad to see, but it's just the age that we live in as far as college football with the transfer portal and NIL. Some of these group of 5 schools, like those competing in the Sun Belt Conference, are just going to be really taken advantage of by the bigger schools. So Troy doesn't have much back. They lost their coach, John Sumrall. He leaves for Tulane. James Madison, which won the other division in the Sun Belt last year, they lose their coach, Kirk Cignetti, who goes to Indiana. And then a third head coach, South Alabama's Kane Womack. He leaves Mobile for Alabama, University of Alabama, to become their defensive coordinator. And then a couple of other teams, ULM and Georgia State, will also have new head coaches in 2024. From a player standpoint, the most notable defection was Coastal Carolina quarterback Grayson McCall. He's thrown for over 10,000 career yards in his collegiate career. He transfers to North Carolina State, where he'll play for the Wolfpack this year in the ACC. So just a lot of changeover in the Sun Belt, and certainly Troy, their power ranking, off the top of my head, it's got to be, 12, 15 points lower than it was at season's end last year.
The win total 7 at William Hill, and under 7 with Troy's win total, as they have a tough schedule and lose just about everybody. A team you're high on, Arkansas State. Let's start with the win total, 5.5 at DK. Butch Jones, 6-7 last year. They returned 16 starters. What do you think of Arkansas State, please?
Well, you look at the Sun Belt Conference, and with all this turnover and all this change, I think there's a team, an unknown maybe, somebody a little bit further down the list that could emerge this year in the Sun Belt Conference. And I think Arkansas State has a good shot at being that team. Their head coach, not new head coach, he's now in his 4th season, but former Cincinnati and Tennessee head coach Butch Jones has the Red Wolves displaying steady progress under his leadership. Went 6-6 last year in the regular season, lost the Camellia Bowl 21-19 to Northern Illinois, but they return a talented dual-threat quarterback in sophomore Jalen Rayner. He was the league's freshman of the year last year, threw for over 2,500 yards, ran for 574 net rushing yards. He's going to have a lot of weapons at his disposal. This is going to be a really good Red Wolf offense. They return their top 4 rushers, 8 of their top 9 receivers, rather, and then they have a veteran senior, junior offensive line. Got to get a little bit better on defense. They've given up an average of 30 points or more in each of the last 5 years, but I think they'll be a little bit better on defense. A diversity of opinion this season, when you look at that regular season win total for Arkansas State, DraftKings and Circa actually list that regular season win total for Arkansas State at 5.5. Conservative juice, DraftKings only -110 on the over, Circa -120. William Hill lists Arkansas State's regular win season total at 6, juice to the under at -125. And then you look at FanDuel, they have that total at 6.5.
Wow.
The over at +148 if you want to get adventuresome there, and the under at -184. I made Arkansas State's regular season win total 6, heavily juiced to the over. I think they're going to field, again, one of the best offenses in the conference. I think 6-6. I think that would be a mild disappointment. All we need is 6 regular season wins to get to the over. I'm going to recommend taking Arkansas State over 5.5 at -110 there at DraftKings.
Great number. Okay, let's take it a step further. How about to win the Sun Belt at circa 18-1?
I like that number. I'm going to recommend splitting a unit, and half of that unit's going to be on Arkansas State at 18-1. Again, they've got a really good offense. I mean, they're going to have perhaps the best offense in the entire Sun Belt. They have an athletic quarterback. They didn't get impacted too dramatically through the transfer portal. So I'm going to recommend splitting a unit, Arkansas State at 18-1 there at Circa to win the Sun Belt.
Okay, and then with the other unit, App State is the favorite, plus 320 at DraftKings, 9-5 last year. You mentioned this last week when we did Conference USA. They have that huge game September 28th at home against Liberty. So what do you think here with App State and their chances to win the Sun Belt with the other half unit?
Yeah, they've played in 4 of the league's 6 Sun Belt championship games. This is a team that won the title back in 2019, actually defeated Louisiana 45-38 that year. It's important to note this, the conference championship markets, they refer to the winner of the league's championship game. Sun Belt consists of 2 17 divisions with the championship game, pitting the East Division champion against the West Division champion. That game played on the home field of the team with the better overall conference record. You look at this Appalachian State team, they figured to be favored in all 8 of their conference games. In addition to the tradition, they've got a veteran leader and 5th-year head coach Sean Clark, got a returning quarterback in Joey Aguilar, have the makings of perhaps the league's top defense. They should be well prepared for the Sun Belt. They play a really rigorous non-conference schedule. Mm-hmm. In September, they travel to Clemson in East Carolina, also host Liberty in non-conference play, going to be one of the top group of 5 non-conference plays of the non-conference season. According to my numbers, App State would currently be a double-digit favorite in 4 of its 8 conference games, and in the remaining 4 league contests would be favored by less than a touchdown only once. That would be on October 12th when they travel to Lafayette to play the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. I like Appalachian State on that other half unit at plus 130 there at FanDuel to win the Sun Belt.
Excellent.
Excellent breakdown of the Sun Belt.
Yes. Good league. And good league that's had a lot of success in the last few years as well. We'll get to hang tight, Paul. We'll get to Notre Dame coming up next and high expectations with the Irish. What are your thoughts on the Irish this year? That's a big – the schedule's – I know they usually play a tough schedule, but when you look at it, big expectations, good team on paper, total 10-10.5.
Well, again,
it's not inconceivable to get to 11-1 with Notre Dame.
Right. I actually kind of like Notre Dame's schedule, and I think Marcus Freeman's done a pretty good job, despite all the negativity that Brad Powers and Tim Murray spew on this network about the Fighting Irish program in the last year or so. Uh-huh. Now, Powers and Murray are both Notre Dame fans, and a lot of times fans are skeptical or pessimistic about their favorite team. I actually think this Notre Dame team's on the rise. I'm interested to hear Paul Stone's view because I've been working on a lot of college football. I'm certainly behind the curve set by guys like Brad Powers and Paul Stone, who are way ahead of everybody else with the amount of work they do on college football.
No doubt. And I'm lost until I get the Phil Steele magazine.
You got it now.
I got it.
Because Paul Stone sent that magazine to you this week, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I owe him steak and a beer for sending that as well. So App State plus 320. Arkansas State 18-1 to win the Sun Belt. Yep. Troy under 7 at William Hill, and Arkansas State over 5. Very important with the number here. Again, his breakdown was awesome. Very important with the number. Ark State 5.5 at DraftKings. Notre Dame up next with Paul Stone. Good breakdown, good team. Could be a playoff team. VSiN, follow the money, the Sports Betting Network.
NFL training camp starting less than a month. I can't wait. VSiN has been busy getting you ready for the NFL season. We've got the NFL betting guide, which is going to drop Thursday, packed with everything you need to know. Best bets, team breakdowns. To celebrate the release of the guide, VSiN's going to go all out with special coverage throughout the day. Thursday, that's when it drops. Tune in. Each show on Thursday is going to highlight NFL betting and take an in-depth look at the betting guide. Remember, the only way to get the all-new betting guide is to become a VSiN Pro subscriber. If you're not a pro yet, become one. Visit vsin.com/subscribe to sign up today, and you get first. You are the first to access the VSiN NFL betting guide, the most valuable football preview magazine on the market because it's written from a betting perspective. And Paul Stone is with us now. Paul Howard. We are now going to start working on the college football betting guide. And I got to tell you, I'm optimistic about Notre Dame, and I like the quarterback, Riley Leonard, quite a bit, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes, double shot with Paul, and football season is here. August 1st, Hall of Fame game. August 24th, college football starts. PaulStoneSports.com. Great podcast as well. Follow him on X. So you were supposed to be on Skype, and you moved over to the phone. And can you expand on your Troy breakdown, please?
Yeah, I had some technical issues this morning, so we had to go to the phone. And I'm supposed to be a consummate professional, Pauly, but I kind of slipped up on Troy and forgot to give a little explanation there. You led me into it, and you're probably wondering what I was doing, not responding with some Troy talk. But let's go to those Troy Trojans. Of course, as we talked about, they lost their head coach John Summerall, who goes to Tulane, and their roster. I mean, it looks nothing like it did last year. I mean, this is a team that in the regular season, the past 2 seasons, I think this is correct. They've won 11 regular season games. I think that probably includes the conference championship. So they've actually won 10 regular season games in both 22 and 23. Here, their win total is at 7. Juice to the under at 2 books at -130, juice to the under 7 at DraftKings at -135. I actually made their win total 6, heavily juiced to the under at -145. I'm usually quite close when I do my regular season win total lines, but this one's a full game off. So I really like this Troy total to go under the 7. I think a lot of this is based on their history because the last couple of years they have been the class of the league. But again, this is just not, other than the Troy on the front of the jersey or whatever, this is just a different football team. Phil Steele and his experience chart has them ranked the most 133rd in terms of returning experience.
Ooh.
Only have 2 starters back, according to his magazine, on both sides of the ball. Lose over 30 lettermen. Just have new faces and guys who have not played either at Troy or any other school for that matter. This is just not yesterday's Troy team. I like Troy to go under 7 regular season wins at -130.
Beautiful. You put me on that. You put me on Arkansas State. And if you missed it last week, go back and listen on the podcast. A great breakdown on UTEP under as well when we did Conference USA. And that is 4.5, by the way. But again, very important with the number, what he mentioned with UTEP and also Arkansas State. Phil Steele has Notre Dame, his power rated 6th in the country of his top 10. The Irish are 6th. 10-3 last year, returned 15 starters. Riley Leonard, the quarterback. Win total 10.5. We're going to use 10 at DraftKings. Many expect them to make the playoff. What do you think of Notre Dame, sir?
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that they're when we're all kind of backtrack here, Pauly. When you're handicapping regular season win totals, it's no secret, but it bears repeating. You got to look at that schedule, who they play, where they play them. The order of occurrence, those types of things. And Notre Dame's schedule ranked the 57th toughest in the nation by Phil Steele. So they have a really manageable schedule this year. You look at that schedule, and it starts off with a bang. Their season opener on August 31st, a night game at Kyle Field against Texas A&M. A&M's new head coach, Mike Elko, their former defensive coordinator, coming over from Duke, where he spent 2 successful seasons. Texas A&M in that game currently favored by 1 at most stores. They're at Circa, where you guys are. The game is listed at pick. After that game, in their remaining 11 regular season games, the Irish are going to certainly, without, unless there's an injury, they'll almost certainly be favored in all 11 of their remaining regular season games there. They're going to be favored by double digits in 8 or 9 of their final 11. So sometimes you'll see a team, for instance, that might have the appearance that they're going to be favored in 10 or so games, but a lot of those lines will be really tight. Some of them be 4 under, maybe 6 or less. Notre Dame's going to be favored by double digits in 8 or 9 of their 12 games. So they don't have that many losable games. So that's one thing I really like about this over. Again, as you mentioned, Phil Steele has Notre Dame ranked number 7. I have them at number 7 as well. A lot of people have them at 8. But I look at this team, and again, I take this position going to the over, knowing that for the most part, they've been consistent underachievers over the last 2 or 3 decades even. And I mostly like the Irish this season because if Riley Leonard, if he's healthy and fully recovered from that right ankle injury that he originally suffered last September, they are better at quarterback. He's a clear upgrade over Sam Hartman. They're going to have one of the better defenses in the nation, especially strong up front. Got a nose guard, Howard Cross, one of the best in the country, a returning All-America. Their question mark, the area that they really need to have some guys step up is going to be that offensive line. They have to replace 3 starting offensive linemen, and not just any offensive lineman. Had a center who played 3 years. I think he started there 3 years, Zeke Correll. Now has expired his eligibility. And then their tackles, left tackle Joe Alt. He was the 5th overall selection in this past April's NFL draft. Blake Fisher, the right tackle, was a 2nd-round pick. Again, the biggest question mark for the Irish, in my opinion. They've got a wide receiver looking at the portal. Their key addition, wide receiver Chris Mitchell, had over 1,100 receiving yards last year at Florida International, so he could give them a really good receiving option. If Mitchell Evans, their tight end, is healthy, he missed the final 4 games last year, one of the better tight ends in the country. Again, shop around, but I like the over 10 here. I just believe 11-1 is more probable than 9-3. Mm-hmm. So let's take the Irish over 10 regular season wins at DraftKings at -110.
If you're going to bet that, bet it over 10, not over 10.5. Huge difference, and the price difference is worth paying too on those win totals like this. Paul, I like Riley Leonard quite a bit. Hopefully he's healthy after that ankle injury, the Duke transfer, and I would expect big things out of the Irish as well. I've never really in, I would say the last 20 years, not been much of a proponent of betting college football national title odds because it's always felt like you have a small pool of teams that can actually get there, and rarely can you find a long shot on the board. Things are going to be changing here with an expanded playoffs. Have you looked at the odds board here for the national title, and can you find value in teams, more value now in teams like Notre Dame at 25 or 30-1?
Yeah, I'm not a huge player in that future market, the national, to win the national championship. But I'll say one thing, that the 12-team playoff, and I know it's a polarizing topic to many, but you get if you get a ticket at 25-1 or better on a team to win the national championship, Notre Dame won't be able to get a bye, but some teams will get a bye into the final 8. You have some really outstanding hedging opportunities with 12 teams that you didn't have before in the 4-team playoff. And certainly I think when you buy a futures ticket, your bottom line has to be, can I make a profit on this? You're not so much saying I'm going to win this ticket, but am I going to be able to leverage it perhaps at some point to generate a profit? And I think you have more opportunities on those tickets. One thing that I did look at was to make the playoff. It's -165 to the yes for Notre Dame to make the playoff there at DraftKings. A little bit cost prohibitive for me. I think I'll pass on that. Mm-hmm. Something you might think about just taking a peanut on. Undefeated regular season there at Circa. Notre Dame, the yes is +450. The no -595. You might take a look at that yes, because I think there's a possibility of a 12-0 regular season.
That's what I did with Utah. I took 100-1 on Utah, expecting, are they going to win the title? Unlikely. But I think I can make the playoff, and I should be able to win the Big 12 with Rising back in a doable schedule, and I don't face Kansas State.
Right.
And it's a great coach with Whittingham, and that's down to 60-1 now as well. Great job, my friend. Thanks for a few minutes. We'll talk to you next week.
Hey, guys, sorry about the little technical snafu there, but I love being on with you guys. College football regular season kicks off in 60 days. Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
You got it. Anytime.
Right around the corner. It's great to have college football back. Feels like it's back. But no, I really believe the college football national title odds board has opened up now. There's more opportunities.
I agree,
In the past, I didn't want to bet it, but now I think you have to look at it with the expanded playoff field.
The drought continues Florida wins Game 7. Canada, 1993. Oilers go home next. Game 7 recap. Follow the money.